I see CEW as a very committed group of women who are focused on promoting women into leadership positions primarily in business. And not only sort of focusing on the need for that promotion, but also trying to do some practical things to make that happen.
CEW is a group of highly intelligent and, in my opinion, great achieving women who've come together and stand for, firstly, mentoring both themselves and other women. Second, their scholarship program I think is fantastic, so trying to develop women in their education, in business and otherwise. And I think the third thing is that they are touching on research in the area of gender and gender diversity in particular.
It's there to promote females across the leadership aspects of organisations, not just companies, for-profit, but not-for-profit, etc. It does commissions research. It has network events, and I've been lucky enough to speak at one of them.
Chief Executive Women, for me, I think falls into two key roles. The first is a genuine thought leader on the issues that have direct impact on gender equity and ensuring that we identify the issues around enhancing the participation of women in leadership. That's the first really key role, just to understand what's really going on. And second, for me, this Chief Executive Women group comprises amazing women in business who are fantastic role models who can share their experiences with other emerging female leaders.
The CEW is essentially a collection of women who have come together, senior women in business have come together, motivated by two issues. One is to ensure that women collectively have the opportunity to rise to leadership positions in the business community. And the second is not just to stop there, but to actually help them by providing tools for their own development.
So I think you have, CEW has a very good reputation amongst the business community. And I think that's because it's evidence-based, it's discussion-based, it's engaging, and it's engaging people who can help you, people like us, for example, and we're usually delighted to work with you.
CEW is making great progress on both fronts, and you only have to look at the breakfast you recently ran in Sydney, where, with the joint survey work that you did with Bain, room full of people, a good cross-section of men, senior leaders who are passionate about the topic, really diving into some confronting issues. So I see CEW not stepping away from the tough issues and putting the tough conversation out there. And even I feel uncomfortable at times, and that's good. So we need to be stretched. An area I think for CEW to focus on is how do we enhance the visibility of your membership so that in the broader business community people really understand who the members are, what they stand for, and the kind of change they're trying to drive in business and society.
Treasury now has 2 participants in this year's training programs. I think that is a really good initiative on your part to invite us in, and that will help us build broader sets of links. And I think that will raise CEW's profile in the public sector. But I'd augment that by trying to have a higher profile in the business community itself.
The big movement over time in terms of diversity around board tables has definitely had a stamp from CEW.
The area which I think CEW could really make a greater impact would be the pipeline of women coming through the executive ranks, encouraging them either to stay, encouraging them to come back, discussing that issue and promoting them. Then there's the leadership aspect of those type of women in terms of maybe training or even just getting them involved and also giving them a profile. And I think that's where I think there's a lot of work to be done.
I think that when I've been to the dinners of CEW, I've been amazed at the reach of the organisation.
The reach of CEW has expanded very significantly in the last couple of years. I always look at the CEW annual dinner And I think that's a great event. I mean, it's obviously a great event because it raises a whole lot of money, and you now have a most successful scholarship program. But it's become a bit of a must-go-to event, I think. It's a big diary event, and you see huge numbers of people there, good representation of men and women. And so I think the fact that people are attracted and want to go to that event means that they see CEW as a significant player, not only in the gender space, but also in business generally.
For the parts of the business community that are concerned about this issue, I think you've got great reach.
One of the things CEW does best is the CEW Gender Diversity Kit. That's a great tool and will become very accessible, I think, to all businesses when it goes online. So it's practical initiatives like that that I think will help move the needle a bit, and certainly we need to move the needle a lot in a relatively short period of time.
My personal view is that there's a revolution happening in a couple of areas, and I think gender diversity is one of those areas. And CEW has done an amazing job in building its membership, building its focus, its strategy and its voice. And so in saying that there's more to do, I think that's a natural flow from the momentum that is really starting to take hold, in business. And as I have been coached by a number of CEW members about it's important for men to really start to take up this issue with men. I find that there is a growing audience of men that are willing to listen to this and be educated and take action as a consequence of that.
We've just got to continually be out there banging the drum. I think this is not an issue that we can episodically raise to public attention.
I look at the experiences that I've had and KPMG has had with CEW. So we've had a number of your members run awareness training, unconscious preference training for both our executive and our boards, and that is very impactful because they're people that have been successful in business, have got the runs on the board and speak with credibility, and then speak with honesty and frankness about the issues that need to be dealt with in the workplace to really help women advance into leadership roles. And so I think that that is doing more of that. I think is important. Probably opportunity to be a little more on the front page from time to time on big issues, and I'm sure that there are plenty of examples of issues where it would be appropriately aligned to the CEW agenda. So I think there's an opportunity to really dial up the voice of CEW in the years ahead.
We like to look to organisations like Chief Executive Women and similar organisations so we can collaborate and do things together. So I think from CEW's perspective, the more you can collaborate with people who have similar objectives, the more powerful what you're doing will be. I think there's probably a view that CEW might be a little narrow in focus. So perhaps broadening your focus and really focusing on the practical stuff.